says impersonations on it, but it's not really impersonations per se. It's a variety of jokes that would feature a variety of accents. Now, there wasn't enough room to put that down, so they had to shorten it because, as you know, putting more ink on it would waste trees, and that would be terrible since we are in an ecological crisis. And an economic crisis. Bloody hell, is there any kind of crisis we aren't in? Do you know what about a big bean crisis? Hey, Mark, did you have any beans? No, I think the sun caused the glacier on it. Anyway, start off. I'm going to tell you a joke about it. Before I go on, I would like you to know this is my first time doing this. I've never done this before, so please be nice. Nice. You're down throat. First joke I'll be doing tonight is a joke about two Mexican men. Now, there's two Mexican men wandering through the desert. In the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around them. Nothing but barren sand and scorching sun for as far as the eye can see. When suddenly, they see off in the distance. Could it be? Yes, there's a tree. But there are no leaves on this tree. No, on this tree, there is bacon, rashers, hanging from the branches, glistening with delicious grease. The first one turns to his mate and says, Hey, Pablo, do you see that? I think he's a bacon tree. And the second guy, he stares at him, and he's amazed. He turns to the first and says, Yeah, Jose, I think that is bacon tree. So the first guy says, maybe we should go check it out, huh? And the second guy nods. So the first man slowly walks towards it. He can smell it, so he runs faster and faster and faster, when suddenly, just as he reaches the bacon tree, many armed men carrying guns jump out and shoot him down. He falls to the floor. With his dying breath, he calls to his comrade, No, Jose, no come any closer. He's no bacon tree. He's a ambush. During an awful time we know as World War II. Now, this fine American gentleman by the name of Major Smith, Britain, he was a terribly brave man, but he was captured by the Germans and brought to a POW camp. And the leader of this POW camp was a terribly cruel man by the name of Colonel Fritz. Now, Colonel Fritz had devised an evil method of torture. He would force all of the prisoners to line up, and then, for hours on end, he would make them wave their arms up and down, going tick-tock, tick-tock. So, he's coming down one day, admiring his evil craftiness, when he notices Major Smith, he's only raising one arm and going tick, 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 tick. Surely this can't be right. But Colonel Fritz is a crafty fellow. He leans closer, glares into Major Smith's eyes, and says to him, Oh, you think you are clever, do you? Ah, but we Germans have ways of making you talk. Now for another German joke. It's a nice moment in Dublin Airport. Ryanair is going bankrupt and all that, but that's not what we're here for. But it wasn't that funny part of the joke, all right? Now anyway, suddenly the doors burst open, and in, fresh from the grave, comes, please don't be too offended by this, Hitler and his assistant Hess. Thank you, Walker. Yes, I'm singling you out now. Andrew Shepard, you know who you are. Now then, Hitler goes to the center room. The top of his lungs, he shouts, I am Adolf Hitler, der Führer of Germany. I have risen from the grave, and now I and my assistant Hess. We will go on a killing spree. We will kill 30 Jews and one postman. And one mild-mannered man in the corner raises his voice and says, Excuse me, sir, why the postman? Hitler smiles craftily, and he turns to Hess and sneers, You see, Hess, I told you nobody cared about the Jews. Next joke is a joke about my granddad. this when I was a little lad. I didn't get it quite then, but I get it now. It's a bit of an intellectual joke, so if any of you out there actually get it, excellent. Consider yourself an English literature genius. Anyway, this Irish fellow goes to England looking for a job. He goes to a building site. The English guy who runs the building site, he's a bit of a nasty fella. He doesn't like his Irishmen. So he decides to try to trick the Irish fella. He pulls out his CV system. Right now, I see you looking for a job here in our building site. Now, before I can let you come in, I've got to make sure that you know the building terms. Can you tell me the difference between a joist and a girder? And the Irishman thinks about this and says, oh, I know that, sure. Joist wrote Ulysses and girder wrote Faust. The Admiral of the German Navy, the Admiral of the English Navy, and the Admiral of the Irish Navy have gathered together to show off their finest specimens. Yeah. Now they start bragging, and the German Admiral says, oh yeah, now check it out. Take a look at what finest seaman. No, watch this for courage. So he calls the man over and says, now I want you to jump overboard. You want to swim beneath the boat. So the German man hops overboard, swims underneath, and sure as you know it, he pops up the other side. Everybody's well impressed. The English fellow says, oh, well, that's nothing. Check out our finest fellow. And he calls up and says, I would like you to jump overboard and swim beneath the ship, but you want to go lengthways along the long side. It's longer. So the English fellow jumps overboard. And sure enough, he goes and takes a swim, runs, vertically, comes up the other side, perfect. So there's plenty of air in his lungs. Finally, the Irish fella says, oh sure, that's nothing, check out our fella. And he calls up his fella. And he says to him, well, I want you to jump overboard and to swim both ways, so don't come up for air. The Irish fella's bewildered. He says, you must be joking me, sir. And the Irish fella smiles and says, that takes courage.